Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back here with us in English Discussion Forum, and we still haven't decided our name yet, but hopefully in the next episode we already back here with a new name. So yeah, for today's discussions, topic is juggling educations and social connections. So before we start, we will introduce ourselves first. So I'm Pamita Wijayanti and I'm a college student. And here with us, please guys.
I'm Sita Fitrani Anissa as a high schooler.
I'm January Deva Serga, high schooler.
So yeah, now let's talk about why we choose this topic. So basically, juggling between why we choose this topic is because, like sometimes there's still people who always to concentrate with their studies, but then they forgot about uh, having a friends or maybe like interacting with other people, but then also at the same time also there is a people that like they have a lot of friends, a lot of connections, but they don't really study. So yeah, also for us today, we hope that we can provide an insight into in this into challenge and benefits and balance, give you like tips and that hopefully can benefit you about balancing the academics pursuits and also the social connections that come to us. Yeah. So for today, before we start our discussions, first we have to know about the definitions of social connections. So what is social connections and why is it important for us to have a social connections? So first for me, social connections is like the relationship that we have with other people around us, like maybe like we us with our families, also like with our friends in school and our environment as well in the neighborhood too. So yeah, social connections refer to the relationship and interactions that individuals have with others within the social networks. And of course, yes, this is important because for us because we here in a, in on earth we don't live alone because we have to like talking with other people, interacting with other people, though we don't want to, but we still have to, right? Yeah. How about you guys?
I think social relations are interaction between humans and other humans, right? And in my own view, social relationships are very important because as we know, we are social creatures who need someone to talk to and or as a life partner. So yes, social relationships are very important in our life as we are social creatures.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys because so basically humans are created by meeting each other. So like or dislike, we have to communicate with them and create social connection. And it really matters to high schoolers' life because when we work in a group, we should communicate with them and collaborate with them so our goals are achieved.
Yeah, I also agree with both of you. So let's talk about why this is why we find it challenging. Do you find it challenging to balance between an education and academic pursuits and social connections? So because for me myself, I don't really like uh, find it as a challenge because as a challenging things because I think a lot of my friends, maybe because the environment that I have is like basically they talk a lot about the subjects that are already that we have talked before with my teacher. So like yeah, we just talk about that material again when we have a break. So yeah, basically because I have that kind of friends, so I don't really like having difficulties to challenge to balance between those two because my grades also like yes so but not so good but also not so bad, but yeah, but it's not the good things. But actually for the social connections part too, I only think that yeah, I think I can communicate with other people, but like I don't really have to like have a broad social connections as well. But I think the most important part for a social building a social connection is like how we communicate with other people, how we like try to understand other people and to empathetic with them and etc. So yeah, and maybe for those of you who find it challenging to balance between these two, it's because we have a bad time management. Like when you have to do, when it's the time that you have to study, you choose to hang out with your friends because they asked to, and also like if when you have to hang out with your friends, then you're not in the mood and then you're focusing on your study instead and etc. Maybe because of that. How about you guys?
Um, for me, I find it difficult sometimes because I really depends on my mood. Like you said, when I'm not on my mood, I often prefer to not learning, and I do instead I'm talking to my friends, laughing around with my friends instead of about listening to the teacher. And sometimes this is a really important problem for me because when it times for me to do my homework, sometimes I prefer to hanging around with my friend, and I'm doing the homework lately. So when I do the homework lately, it's not on my expectation because I do it as a homework, not because I really want to know these things. I really want to understand these things. But that it turns out I'm just doing it because it homeworks.
Mm, yeah, I understand what you said. So basically, because you still, maybe because you still don't prioritize your homework as like your top priorities. Like you as a student, you still think that I think social connections is more important than my homework because after I play with my friend, I still can do my homework, but at at last after you play around with your friend and you realize that it kind of regret you find it that I regret it a lot because I don't do it as best as I can, yeah, right?
Yeah, when I do it, my homework perfectly on time, before the deadlines, I think I can do my best. And why? And it makes me think like, why wouldn't I do it before I hanging around with my friend? Yeah.
Maybe this is like the things that we should know. So like you can just tell your friend that can we do it after I done my homework, it just need like 2 hours for me to done this, so can you like wait for me a little bit, like this can be communicate. I think that's the thing that maybe we forgot because having a social connection sometimes we forgot to like so they want this time so we have to fulfill this, so we try to not to disappoint them, so that yeah when they talk like I can we met at my home like mm, around 2 o'clock, and then we just like okay, but then we forgot to communicate. But actually social connections is like you try to communicate, you try to communicate with other people, you understand how like to talk to other people, also like to communicate. It can be coordinate like maybe if you talk to your friends that can I do my homework first? Maybe they just like, oh okay, I will wait for you. Please done it quickly. Maybe she said that. How about you say? Do you find it challenging?
For myself, I don't find it difficult to balance education with socializing because of that there is time between seeking knowledge and interacting with each other friends. Or sometimes there are times when seeking knowledge followed by interacting with friends.
Okay, I understand what you say. So like basically you have a time for you to study and also you have a time for you to hang around with your friends. So yeah, that's a good thing because people that are finding difficulties to connect in social life maybe because they put an academic as a pressures, like because we don't mention about the people that too focused to studies, then like uh, I try to understand their point of view because I don't really like really like study person. I have to have a good grade. I don't really that kind of type girl. But yeah, I think the thing that they thought about when they like I only want to focus about my career life or I want only to focus to my studies life is because they think about a school and education is as a pressure, not an enjoying thing. Like, but actually we have to enjoy learning also. Like we have a method to enjoy learning time, and also we will talk about this like for uh like 2 episodes more after this. So yeah, just wait for it. Also about learning, maybe like in a previous discussions, they not talk about like um, what we can just ask our friends to learn together. Yeah, I think that's the important thing. So have you guys experienced difficulties because you didn't have time due to because you didn't have friends due to you being too focused to studying, or vice versa, because of study you struggled with your study because you have to spend time with your friends, too much time to spend with your friends? How about you guys?
I personally don't find it difficult to find friends because I'm so focused on studying or vice versa. In fact, I think socializing more important than studying. Why? Because friends can sometimes be our second teachers when we are in position of not understanding what the teacher is explaining, and are also related to accident. And if there is a time when I need to be serious and really focus, maybe I will ask for time alone for a while. But believe me, studying with friends is as fun as that. But studying alone is much more is much exciting. Although here I say that socializing is more important than studying, that's just what it is. A backup maybe when we are having difficulty while studying.
But yeah, I understand. But I think for you, as for us as a student, because I'm a student, I'm a college student as well. So yeah, because we still a students, maybe the priorities, like we have to know our priorities because we are a student and we have to study. But it doesn't mean we have to focus to study to then we forgot to socialize with other people because yeah, maybe it's about environment. How about you, Sita?
For me, I've never experienced those things because whenever I focused on my study, my friend, like you said, my friend will understand when I communicate with them. So, in fact, they also study together with me. Like when we have an exam tomorrow, they also focus on on their study because some most of my friends are ambitious. So when we're not knowing about an issue, we in other case we doing discussing about an issue we don't understand and share our thoughts about these materials or about the subject we want to examine.
Also, you studies and discuss a lot about the materials that will come to you will face in the exam. I understand. Like
Yeah,
you, it's like an exam questions, and you discuss about that kind of topics
yeah.
with your friends. Oh,
Yeah,
I
because
see.
like you said, it's really important for us to have a positive environment because when we have a positive circle or environment, we could make it a positive one. So we're hanging out with them, but in a positive way. So we're hanging out with them, but we're discussing a subject for our materials for tomorrow or share our thoughts, our knowledge with each other.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. So about positive circle, we also will talk about it in a next episode. So yeah, just tune it up. So also about what Sita said, yeah, it's really important to have a good environment as well because it's not just us who want to social, who it is social connections doesn't mean we have to have a lot of friends, but it's like we just like we know to how to communicate, like I said, also like to empathic, to give like empathetic to them. Also like we, I don't know how to say it. Is it really empathetic? Also like we try to understand them, and also like Sita said about a good environment will build you as a good person as well, because yeah, it's basically like that. So like because Sita in an ambitious environment, so it becomes like, oh, I also want to be to have a good grades, and then like and then just like that. So just like that, Sita also like learning with her friends and etc. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to know about what is positive for you and what is negative to you, what affects you the most, and what is doesn't, what is give you like a benefits and what not the benefits you, and you use it for your own goods. I think it's a good thing. So yeah, so why do you think we it's important for us as a student to have a balance between an education and social life? Because for me it's like increasing motivation, increase motivation. So like, and also developing ourselves, because social connection provide opportunities for self-reflection. So like whenever we are with our friends, we are talking with our families, etc. Because we tend to like when they talk about I learned this and I learned that, and also we have like kind of like turn back time, and like we see ourselves in the past before, and then we're like, yeah, why don't we decided to learn about it before? Then we realize about that and reflect to ourselves, and then we try to develop ourselves as well, because we want to like I also want to be that good in that field like them, etc. So yeah, also like to understand others, because so like I said before, like social connection is allow us to have an insight about different perspective, experience, and backgrounds by because by interacting with other individuals from diverse culture, diverse environment, diverse community and background, and we develop empathy and broaden our understanding of the world and also other people. Also, being involved. So, like social connection facilitate involvement for us in the various social, cultural, and communities and activities, because we engage in many part of our life. So, also like empathy, social connections, like enabling us to connect with other people. So like we know how to put to their shoes, like whenever they sad, we also like, oh, I understand why they are sad today. Also like we try to understand other people, though we're kind of like mad at them, but because we know the situation of them, so we understand them. Maybe that is the important part, to have a to have a balance between an education and social life. Because if we only focus about studying, then we become selfish. Do you realize that? Like whenever we being too much focused our study, then we become like self-centered and only focus about ourselves. Then we forgot to like helping our mom. Also like we forgot to like whenever our friends ask for to us to like, do you understand this material? And we were like, no, something like that, because we don't want them to have the better grades than us, and then etc. Yeah, it becomes like that. So I think the finding the balance between these two is making you humble as well. So this is why this is important. How about you guys?
There must be a balance between socializing and education, because there are many cases where students who are so focused on studying make them less social and are even considered different from others, and this ultimately leads to them being bullied. Sometimes bullying occurs because he is different from others. And if, on the contrary, we socialize more often without seeking knowledge at all, this can have an impact on our life, which can actually give rise to a feeling of laziness in studying, which come because we are too comfortable with
Ourselves.
actually give rise to a feeling of laziness in study caused by friends or a feelings of laziness in studying which comes because we are too comfortable with our habits in the day chatting with friends at school without any desire to seek knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe because a person that only focus on her building a social connection is like I don't understand the people that study a lot. Like also sometimes because we only focus about oh I have to have many friends as possible, then we forgot about the goal to have a friends itself. Like I said, so having friends and social connections mean that you have to be like you have to learn about how to communicate, um, how to have empathy with
Yeah,
them.
develop our social
Yeah,
skills.
yeah, develop our social skills as well. But sometimes a lot of people that have a social connection, so have a social life, it's kind of forgot about that. So they don't really need to like. I don't really need to understand them that are study a lot. So how about you? Sita?
So, in my point of view, it's really important. Why? Because when we're not balancing it, these two things, it really affects on the other side. Uh, in my friend's experience, I got a little story about my friends, which is related to this issue. So my friend is really smart. She has a lot of achievements. She wins a lot of competition. But when she nominates herself to be a school president in my school, uh, no one choose her. Only 17 people out of 900 people choose her. Yeah, because she has zero social skills. She has a few friends, and no one knows about her ability, her capacity,
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 capability.
capabilities about her. So, uh, and the one, my friend who wins the prize to be a
That
to be
chosen to be a
yeah,
school president.
yes, she smart. She has a lot of achievement too, but she has a lot of friends because she can communicate with others. She build relations with others, so people will choose her because they trust her.
Yeah.
So we can conclude that being smart and has a lot of achievement is not enough. We has to be we have to be socializing with others to build their trust to me to ourselves too, right?
Yeah, I think the highlight that we need to like that we get from Sita is like because her friend is like only focus about her grades and also like her yeah her grades in school. So because they are the smartest person doesn't mean they are a good leader, but the person that have a really broad social skill or also like they have a good communication with a good communication skill with other people that they try to talk and interacting with a lot of people and they have like many things and they are humble. This kind of person is actually like kind of being trusted as a leader because they try to put themselves as other person in other person's shoes. Like they try to have to give empathy to them. Um, like maybe I also have that kind of friends, and that friends is like uh, I was like, whenever I only just stay silent, and she was like, "Are you sad?" She asked about something like that, and I was like, "Oh no, thank you for asking." I was like that, and that kind of person is kind of like having a lot of worries about other people as well. So yeah, that's why she's that's why that kind of person is being trusted more than like more trustworthy than the smartest person because the smartest person doesn't mean the wiser. Also, the smartest person doesn't mean they are a good leader as well. So yeah, that's the point. So sadly, we come to the end of our discussions today. So yeah, to wrap up our discussions, we uh, I want to ask about the specific routines, or please give a tips for them to have to balance between social connections and educations. Maybe some of you already face it and already like, oh, I already tried this and then it works. So I hope you guys also try it and etc. And for me, it's like create weekly and monthly schedules, like dedicate times to studies and make time to hang out with friends as well. Like maybe that hanging out with friends, you can make it as a self reward after you done studying. And about self reward, we also will talk about this in the next episode. So please tune in up. So yeah, so also like incorporate socializing time as a reward for ourselves after we achieve the learning target that has been set. So yeah, I think that's the important thing, because we sometimes forget to like we only targeting and also create a schedule about our studies, and then we forget that we also have need time to relax. So and the second thing is prioritize. Allocate specific time slot for studying and completing tasks, because we still students, so we need to prioritize like homework come first, exam come first, because we still students, then we need to like study, because that is our job as a students, that is our responsibilities, the first responsibilities. And the last one is set a boundaries, like setting a boundaries, like you know yourself, you know when to stop, you know when to uh, uh, to into hanging out with your friends, also like you also know how to you know the boundaries to that, oh, I overline this, and I also setting the boundaries between those is really important. So how about you guys?
Maybe what I usually do to socialize and seek balanced knowledge is that sometimes I only study at home, and school I socialize more so that I myself can find out things that maybe I didn't know when I previously study at home. As I said at the beginning, friends can be the second teachers, our second teachers at school. Maybe the tip is look for friends who have a good impact in seeking knowledge, which makes us fall into joining in seeking knowledge. Because when we can find friends who have a good impact on knowledge, it can also make socializing and education work in balance.
I see. How about you, Sita?
Yeah, for me, I don't have a specific routine, but when the teacher comes, I go focused on him. But when I'm not on my route, like what I said, my problem is sometimes I do not pay attention to my teacher. When I go home, I repeat what the teacher is teaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I repeat it until I understand about the material. So I don't
Left.
yeah left behind. So I don't left behind by the subjects that we learn that day. And for my tips is we have to strengthen our self-control, because when have a control of ourselves, we play the main role of ourselves. We can choose the good over the bad one. So, yeah, it really matters, because when we can choose the good path over the bad path, we can balance in it two things.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the tips. Also about setting a boundaries that I don't really describe it before. Is like too much study is not good as you think, because uh something that too much is not really good for you. But setting a boundaries like you know when to relax because actually the challenging part is not as that uh, but study is not don't see study as a pressure but as the things that you can enjoy in life. So yeah, that's for me. Also, thank you guys for your attention and listening for the first and the last minutes on of these discussions today. So yeah, we would like to having you to here. So if you want to be a part of our discussion, so you can DM us in Instagram on Instagram at Nadina Forum. Also, if you have a recommendation for us to talk to about our topic, so you can